Gentlemen, and today we are going to talk about the cultural conflict and the solution. This is very hot topic. Why this is very hot topic? Because when we have some conflict with something, we get it red, and also our face on fire, right? And let me introduce our team members. And I'm Bella from Mongolia. I am the blue one. And the green one is Boga, and the red one is Oyanga. About the today contents, first of all, we have a problem. We get a problem, and then we analyze it, and also we have a solution. Actually, there is no best solution, but also there are better solutions. So, and today you guys are very lucky. Why? Because we travel around the world, these countries. And let's first start with the Korea. And wow, she's very beautiful, right? And she Lee Sung-min, also from Korea, one of my best friends. And she had the good points with the Taiwan. And Taiwan seems really friendly, and also transportation is good compared to Korea. And they are very casual life that we see clear their makeup. And then she had a conflict with no expression in respecting way, and also conflict with some pets, dogs, something like that. And next one is Japan. Oh, Yuri, this is also a very fit girl, and I know her. And also she conflict with the cook, all about the cook. And good points of the Taiwan is outgoing people, no bullying behavior, and also you said elder, they are very respect each others. And next will Philippines. Yeah, we have done. I texted her and asking some question. Have you ever been in some conflict with the Taiwan? And she answered me those ones. Also, the good one is the hospitality is well organized. They're really reliable, and seafood is awesome. But not seafood. Some food that is not tasty, something like that. And in a minute, Oyunga will talk about the more details about today's contest.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the second member of this team, and I'm Oyunga. Our participant is from our country, which is Mongolia, and let's see what is she thinking about Taiwan. Her name is Birsik, and there are some good conflicts for her. Foods are sweetie, active people, and bad-smelling egg or tofu are really, really bad. And girls dress like boys, and they don't care about their clothes and makeup. They always wear slippers in classroom, something like that. And what's the good points? Environment friendly in Taiwan. You can see the green nature in here, and night market special, take care of pets. And next person is from Kenya, this guy. His name is Dennis Musoki, and night market, especially stinky tofu, is very interesting for him. And people are helpful and kind in Taiwan, and some conflicts, for instance, using chopsticks, and language is so different in Taiwan. And the last one is our professor, who is sitting there, Masood. His name is Masood, and professor of business administration. And what is his good points? Patience for driving and lining up, and honesty, and different side from his country is motorcycle and scooter. There are too many motorcycles and scooters in here. It seems too unsafe, and eating style is slightly different. As a result of our survey, there are some common curious perspectives. First of all, they take care of their pets like their children, and it seems to be pets have a right just like humans. Wherever we go, we can see Taiwanese people cherish dogs and cats, whether there are streets or not. But in our country, the situation is far different from here. Let's consider about Mongolia. Mongolians, people think that street dogs are disgusting, as well as they have infections, and so that it's possible to get infective disease from them, and so they escape from street dogs, and government also fulfill a policy which is shooting street dogs, but we consider only this topic for street dogs, but on the other hand we also love pets like other countries. And the third one is also every country's people in our survey really like street food, but some of them think that too many food carts, too many people in narrow place, and they using poor qualified materials, and that's bad for our health. And so let's see the solution.
Hi guys, I'm church member Bota. Now I'm talking about our team's solution. Here is our solution. First one is cyberspace. We live in a 21st century. This is the information century, right? So why can't we use cyberspace to inform or get information about culture? Like add some section about culture in our school website. And next solution is open mind and never judge. There are some people who look just one aspect of something, not looking or accepting other sides, then criticize, ignore, and judge them. That's absolutely wrong. We should consider all those parts, situation, and aspects, so then never judge everything. Next solution is flexibility. Flexibility is very important part. We mentioned about one word, when in Rome, to is the Roman stew. In our Mongolian language, we also have this kind of mini words. If you drink their water, you have to follow their rules, like this. Another solutions are learn from others' culture, introduce own country's culture, like give and get or get and give. And also cognitive entertainment. Entertainment can affect our daily lives, mind and character, so we can use entertainment. And next one is teamwork. If you look at those solutions first later, this make a complete.
Thank you for 13. Time is up.
This is Nadia and Tuba. We are a team of senior year students from Mongolia, and we prepared a presentation about cultural conflict and suggested solutions in our daily life. So our presentation includes personal experience and the definition of cultural conflict, examples, solution and conclusion, benefits of conflict, and references. So I'm going to start our presentation with our personal experience. First time when we arrived in Taiwan, we had some difficulties in getting to know Taiwanese culture, and we didn't know any Chinese. Once I was taking a bus with my friend, and we were eating an aro, which is a Mongolian traditional milk candy. And a few minutes later, the bus driver was saying something on the speaker very loudly, and because of the language barrier, we didn't understand that he was referring to us to stop eating. And then he came to us and started to yell in front of everyone. We were so embarrassed that we swallowed our candies and we didn't talk even to each other until we got off from the bus. And second experience is catching the bus. In Taiwan, you have to raise your hands if you want to catch a bus. In Mongolia, buses stop at every bus station, so we don't have to raise our hands. So during our first week in Taichung, so many buses just left us on the station.
Yeah, we even ran after them, but they left us anyway. So these were our first time experiencing cultural conflict in Taiwan. So what is this cultural conflict? conflict is actually a very normal part of human interaction. At some points, it's even necessary. It occurs when expectations of a certain behavior are not met, because we all have different cultural backgrounds and different beliefs. We may mistake differences between us and others as evidence of bad faith or lack of common sense, not realizing that common sense is also cultural. What is common to one group may seem strange or even wrong to another group.
We have two examples based on our experience in classroom as students. First of all, class participation. As we are the students from International College in Asia University, we have many classes with foreign students. So we remarked that most Asian students are very shy and afraid of asking questions compared to most Western students. For instance, we had a Chinese course, and I was very afraid of asking questions from the teacher or speaking in Chinese because I thought I was very bad. But my friends from Western countries were very open and easygoing during this class. And our second example is titles and names. The way we call others shows our respect and attitude to them. For example, we have many teachers from various countries and we have to call them differently. For example, in Taiwan and Mongolia, we call them just teacher or professor, like Lao Shi or Baksha. We never call them by their full name, but it's totally different for Russian teachers. The first thing I learned in Russian elementary school was that I have to call them by their full name. I couldn't call them just teacher because it's gonna sound very disrespectful, because the word teacher only refers as a profession in Russian language. But for our Iranian and American teachers, we call them with their title and class name. For example, Dr. M or Professor Gala, we never call them just teacher or by their full name because it's gonna sound cold and distant.
So as we see, we face minor conflicts every day. Small conflicts often remain silent and private, but bigger conflicts can cause bigger problems and sometimes they even cause a war. So what is the solution for conflict? Should we avoid it or approach it? Both ways have its pros and cons, but by avoiding conflict we can stay safe, but we stay steady. By approaching conflict, we can reach the most innovative solutions. Our team thinks that we need to approach the conflict, not avoid it. After all, peace cannot exist without conflict. Like Ronald Reagan, the 40th President of the United States, said that peace is not absence of conflict, it's the ability to handle it by peaceful means. But conflicts are avoided by most because they create intense amount of discomfort and anxiety. But it has its benefits as well. It opens our eyes to new perspectives on our ideas, and we become more familiar with other cultures, we can understand them, and also conflict leads to solution. We see conflict as a backdoor to innovation and reinvention, and most importantly, it teaches us flexibility. It means we can become more adaptable to other cultures and prevent conflicts from happening. But some people seem to think that adaptability is like disrespecting our own culture, but it's not. Mahatma Gandhi said that adaptability is not imitation, it's the power of resistance and assimilation. So finally, we'd like to finish our presentation with this powerful quote. There is no religion better than love, no color better than color of happiness, and no language better than language of compassion. And I believe that if you face any cultural conflict, you will try to understand the other party's culture and respect their beliefs. Here are our references. Thank you very much for your attention.
Just says this is Cindy. Today I'm going to talk about the food industry. First, what is fashion? People will buy things due to the favor of public or something is expensive, such as clothing. Also, as Taiwanese singer a rabbit or named without know it. But she got news and told everyone don't buy it because people will borrow her favor to buy the rabbit doll. Then what is fur? Fur is the hair component of non-human animals, particularly those animals with extensive body hair that is soft and thick. Also is one of the oldest forms of clothing. Then people view fur as luxurious. Next is a kind of traditional clothing. Finally, it's usually made of red meat or flax. Take Norway for example. In 1918, Norway had around 1,800 farms. However, the numbers sharply going down in 2015. Turns out that there has been a decrease in the fur products. Moreover, Oslo Fashion Week. In 2012, the Oslo Fashion Week in Norway became the first fashion week of the world to announce they never ever use fur products anymore. Now, I am going to introduce the support fur. Vogue and daughter Anna. Anna became interested in fashion as a teenager. He using of the magazine to shape the fashion industry has been a subject of debate with it. Animal rights activists and attacked her for promoting. When other parties have charged her with using the magazine to promote illusion of beauty. Next, supporter for industry is Wearable. The Wearable program is brought up by Fur Europe. They will visit the farm at least 3 times to estimate the environment whether suitable enough for animals. If the farm passes the exam, they could receive the identification from Wearable, which tells the consumer that the fur products they buy are produced in friendly conditions. Okay, it's in this time.
Hi, I'm Cindy, and I'm going to talk about the anti-fur. First, for example, PETA, People for the Electric Treatment of Animals, which is a non-political organization in the United States. And the purpose is to protect animals. And its slogan is, animals are not ours to eat, where explored on, used for experiment, or abused in any other way. Then, the collective public protest. Almost 200 people were naked in the stand. They hope to arouse the awareness of protecting animals. And the PETA is also declining that the options for the advertisement. It said, we rather go naked than wear fair. Then the famous designer Stella. She is an environmentalist and vegetarian on the top of fashion world. Therefore, she never used any animal products in her design work. In this year's
Fuji has been proposed that they will not use fur anymore. So in 2018, we'll no longer to see fur in Fuji. Now I'm going to talk about the solution. Replacing fur into artificial fur. And nowadays, technology is progress fast and is already to create the whale-like visual, just like the clothes that Lady Gaga wears on, and is also designed by the Taiwanese designer Huang Tinglin. And Norway starts opening the farm to the tourists to prove that the animals in here are having a great environment and quality. Finally, the legislate for the standard of raising those animal purpose. For example, supplying food and water regularly, or keeping the environment clean to avoid animals suffering illness, and or you can proposing the illegal management rights and so on. And sorry, I have the fur industry has no upstream rights for fur. But the most important is to balance the relationship between them. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Great conversation.